You can see this end date field is there. By default, the visibility is set to none, which means that you're not displaying it on the screen. But if you want to end date your records, you can bring this field to the screen and you can set the end date of that particular record, guys. Usually, all the end dates of your objects will the visibility is by default set to none, guys. And based on the client requirement, this will be set to either both or whatever it may be. Usually, it will set to both, and you'll be controlling with the permissions to whether someone can edit that or not, and you can populate the end date of that particular record, guys.
So Raghu, tell me one thing. If okay, on the screen we don't have this end date, right? If we will set as none, but how the end date will be stored in the database then? Because we will require a data to be valid from suppose 1/1/2015 till 12/31/2015. Then we should have a 1 year data. So if we will set as none, most of the places you are telling in success factor they have told none. And how are we date delimited things required? Because in my opinion it should be required. Like in SAP, end date is always like a basic primary field you have to fill up.
Yeah, 1 second. So usually in each object, if you see, there is a status field, active, inactive. If you don't want to use a particular record, you can set that to inactive. And if you want to follow the same process as SAP, right, this is the field which has been provided. But by default, the standard success factor doesn't open up this field. But if the client wants to use that particular field to be displayed on the screen, and if you want to make sure the end date is populated when you're going to create the record at a later point of time, you have to bring this field to both, okay, and you can populate the data into this end date field, Nitin. And even if you bring this field to both, right, you can change the status automatically based by writing a rule on the corresponding object, whatever we are talking about. We are not yet to the business rules engine, guys. I'm just talking about, you can write a rule stating that whenever the end date is today, go ahead and set the status of this record to inactive.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically end date is basically in success factor end date is not a required field as per the like a primary field.
Correct. As per the standard functionality.
Okay, that's a major deviation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Raghu, I'm not getting you. Can you re-explain it here? It goes like a I'm not getting you clearly.
See, your end date field by default success factors doesn't display it on the screen. For any object, they don't display it on the screen, but they have a flexibility. They provided with the option. If clients wants to end date their records by showing the end date field on the object, you can go ahead and set this end date field visibility to both, which means that you want to display this field on the instance UI and you want to populate the data into these records. So whenever you're creating a record, right, you want to populate the end date as well. That way you can end date the record how you used to do in SAP HCM. But standard success factor doesn't follow that fashion of creating records, Paresh.
Raghu, before you move to the next thing, I want to know, like yesterday we did a separate different kind of like adjusting the names and all. Today we are doing in this data model. So what is the difference between that and this?
See, yesterday's ones are goes with your MDF foundation objects, guys. These are just foundation objects.
Okay, this is plain foundation. That was MDF foundation.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Raghu.
Raghu, why are you not calling them generic objects? Because they are generally generic objects.
Don't call them as generic objects, guys. The naming they are following is MDF foundation objects. The moment you call them a generic object, you have a bunch of generic objects already available on your standard success factors. They want to clearly differentiate these ones, the migrated ones, right, with the MDF foundation objects.
Okay, so anything that is newly migrated ones, they are called MDF foundation.
MDF foundation object. Sometimes they go with it's for the GO.
Yeah.
object name, legal entity or GO business unit. They call it like this also. Especially when you're talking about wrappers, right? I didn't talk about wrappers yet, but I'll talk about these wrappers as well. Definitely during that particular point of time, they call it as GO, guys. Don't get confused. It will be also called as GO, legal entity, GO business unit, GO division, GO department, like that. Only you can see GO is nothing but your generic objects, but they don't call it as generic object legal entity. They just call it as GO. But this is the ideal name, guys. Your
So if it is
MDF.
geo, then
Yeah, if you talk about GO legal
sorry,
entity,
Raghu, if it is
it is nothing but we are referring to MDF foundation objects, the migrated foundation objects from your corporate data model to the generic objects metadata framework.
Okay, so the original ones were generic objects, which were already there. Okay.
Yeah, we don't call them as GO. We don't prefix them with GO. We all know that what are those things. We'll see that in a moment. If we talk about generic object as an example, the best thing is your position. We don't call them as GO position. We just call them as position. Hope I am clear, guys.
I'm lost somewhere, Raghu.
See, yesterday also I have given you notes, guys. Just refer it back, and if you still have any questions, right, we'll discuss on that, guys.
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, coming back to this, the location group. We don't want to show that location group. We don't want to use that location group on the screen. So let me go to the XML file, the location group. So this is the location group. I don't want to show that on the screen at all. So let's go and set this visible to none, which means that I'm not interested in displaying this field on the screen. Okay. And let me save these changes, guys. Let me save these changes with current date 2015-08.
Raghu?
Yes, Smita.
Sorry to disturb you. Actually, I have to leave this session. My son is not well.
Okay.
So, is it possible to send the recording?
Yeah, I cannot guarantee you because I started recording. If I'm not able to convert right, I'll be helpless, Smita. But 99% I'll be able to convert that and give you the recording, Smita.
Just because he is not well.
No. Yeah, carry on. Yeah. Even if I'm not able to give you the recording, right, I'll compensate you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we saved the XML file after doing these changes, right? Let's go ahead and upload that into your provisioning account, guys. Because we did the XML file changes on the local desktop, right? In order to verify those changes, you have to go ahead and import those changes into your provisioning account. Go to the provisioning account and go to the where did I save that? August and today's date. You can see this is the data model, right? We saved it. Let me select that and click on submit. It will take a few seconds, guys.
Raghu, Samir, I have a bad internet connection. Can you please share the recording for today? I don't know. There's a voice lag, then I just got kicked out.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
You can share it, right?
Yeah, I'll do that, Samir.
Thank you.
It is uploading, guys. Because
So now we made changes for the location in the XML file and now we are loading it back, right? Or did you do anything else also?
no, we just changed the location object and we are loading that into the provisioning system. Samir, you didn't miss anything.
Okay.
Let it load, guys. Once it loads, right, we'll log off from the instance and log in again. We have to do that to verify these changes. So, okay. You see your corporate data model, the XML file has been loaded into your provisioning system. And let me go to your instance. Let me log off, guys. In order to verify that, let me log off from the instance.
So you have to upload this recording from the provisioning system, correct, Raghu?
Yeah,
The XML
the
file?
XML file, yes.
Okay.
Raghu, is the system on which we work for Employee Central usually slow? Because this one is
Yeah,
pretty slow,
it will be
unlike the
slow
other one we use.
when compared to the talent management system, right? It will be slow.
Yeah.
And in fact, like on this system, we have all the modules activated, right? It's again depends on like how many modules that you activated and how many number of records also in your system.
So Raghu, even in the full time, in the real time, even we need to log off and log in every time we upload something on XML or
Yeah, in order to verify that immediately, right? You have to log off and log in, guys.
okay.
Or at least like, you have to do a browser refresh.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah, okay. So let's go to the location object. We want to verify these changes, right? What are the changes that we did here for your location object? We want to verify those things. So let's go to the screen where we populate the location of record, and that is manage org, pay, and job structures. And we want to create a new location. Select this location. Now you can see there is no description field. It has been removed because that's our requirement, one of the requirement, and we want to make this name field as a mandatory field. Okay, see here, the name is a mandatory. There is no description and there is no location group. You see, there is no location group as well. So that is how you can utilize. That is how you can use this XML file to carry out the changes, guys. It's pretty simple, guys. You have to find the correct object, HRIS element. Any questions, guys?
Yeah, where is the end date, Raghu? We have activated the end date, but I cannot see that on the screen.
I don't know. One second. Did we set it to both?
Yeah, I think we did it for both because we want to show it on the screen as well as edit also.
I'll check that, Nitin. Just give me a second.